What man would you be referring to, Mr. Martin?
I was told that the third man helped you and Kurtz carry the body.
Oh, I don't know how you would say that, dear.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about The Third Man, which is a classic. And somebody else was there, and they carried him, but there was a third guy there that was carrying the body.
What I read was they considered Cary Grant and Jimmy Stewart for this movie. Good to see you, Kelly.
Good to see you.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, wow, this is a big glass.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
It's a two-hander for me.
Haben Sie einen Streitkopf mit dem Portier?
It's actually the medium. And welcome to Brit Flix. I'm Paul Boland.
And I'm Kelly Monteith.
And what do we got today, Kelly? What are we talking about?
We're talking about The Third Man,
That's a good
which
movie.
is a classic. I think it's from a Graham Greene
It is. Yeah.
story, right?
Yeah,
Or story
yeah.
or novel, right?
Yeah.
Stars Joseph Cotton, Orson Welles.
Yes.
Trevor Howard's in it, who looks really young. Almost didn't recognize him.
Yeah.
From his later stuff, you know. The woman...
A Valley. Kind of a
Garbo-esque,
beauty.
right? Yeah, she did a really pretty woman.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I haven't seen this. And I've seen a lot of Italian films, but I don't remember seeing her in any of them.
What difference does it make?
But it's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's very moody.
If you were giving the definition of film noir,
Yeah.
The Third Man is it.
The lighting is spectacular. I mean, I really like films like that. And to me, it sort of fits that whole post-war, because it's in Vienna.
That's
and right after the war, a couple of years after the war.
Vienna,
Right?
yeah.
And it just kind of sums up that it looks so bleak. And you feel like it's bleak. You almost,
and corrupt, and they tell you, and corrupt.
Corrupt. After the war, and funny enough, you don't see too much war damage, which I'm sure there's a lot in Vienna. Right. But once in a while, you'll see like guys in the background throwing bricks around, on piles of bricks and stuff. And there's a couple of scenes when the chase scene when it goes down the big pile of rubble. I remember when I was a kid, and I grew up in St. Louis, and really dating myself, but the TV would go off like at midnight.
Sure.
And I always hated going to school, having to get up early. And Sunday night I would just watch TV until it went off. And they used to show a thing called Foreign Intrigue.
Foreign Intrigue, an exciting television drama played against the tense background of present-day Europe.
I always associated Europe this way. It was always gray, either rainy, it looked cold, and it was, of course, in black and white in those days. And they had all these old, funky, weird cars where the doors would open, in the back this way instead of that way. These Citroens, these old Citroens,
Sure.
And that's why this kind of film, it looks bleak and cold, and because you can see their breath when they're out shooting.
That's right.
And the streets are empty, and the lighting makes it, look scary. It really looks scary there.
I don't know if any studios, proper studios were used for this movie, because everything looks real. Even the houses they're in, the apartments, the theater, the theater scene.
I don't think there were any sets.
It all
I think it was all
seems
done
real.
Yeah, I think it was done real. But the plot is really good, and Cotton is great.
You really liked it.
And didn't you said there was two other people that were up for it?
Yeah, what I read was they considered Cary Grant and Jimmy Stewart for this movie, and landed with Joseph Cotton, because he is it's the definition of the everyman. He couldn't be more of a regular guy, and his character is really interesting because he's a pulp fiction writer, westerns.
It's wonderful how you keep the tension.
Tension?
Suspense.
And apparently fail, because he's down in his luck.
He has no money.
The reason he goes to Vienna is his friend Harry Lime sends him the ticket and invites him to come to Vienna.
What's the purpose of your visit here?
A friend of mine offered me a job here.
Where are you staying?
With him. 15 Stiftgasse.
His name?
Lime, Harry Lime.
Okay.
Thought he'd be here to meet me.
When he arrives in Vienna, instantly finds out that his friend who sent for him is dead.
Corvin, Mr. Limes, an accident, knocked over by a car. He in front of the house.
Right.
And the first thing he does is go to his funeral.
Right.
And it's the
and
movie.
That's where he sees the girl.
Is set up in the first, maybe 60 seconds.
Yeah, and the girl's there.
Der Sünden, Auferstehung des Fleisches und ein ewiges Leben. Amen. Der, gib ihm die ewige Ruhe. Lass sie ruhen in Frieden. Amen.
The police are there, and the police want him to leave. They tell you, get on a plane tomorrow, and get out of here.
We'll keep a seat for you on tomorrow's plane.
That's right.
But he's so intrigued about, he finds out he was hit by a truck, and the doctor was there that was his friend, the Harry Lime's friend.
Right.
And somebody else was there, and they carried him, but there was a third guy there that was carrying the body.
Because somebody saw a third man
and
carrying the
he
body.
wants to find out who this third man is.
Yes.
And he won't leave, Cotton won't leave until he finds out how he died, and who, and what was wrong. And the girl was Harry Lime's main squeeze, right?
Right. And the thing that's interesting about it is that as the movie unfolds, Harry Lime's character unfolds with the movie, and as it goes along, you realize, that you're thinking, what a great guy Harry Lime is. He sent for his friend. He sent him a ticket. He come to Vienna.
Yeah.
And then you find out he's not such a nice guy.
No, and you don't see him till like 3/4 of the way through the film, and he shows up.
Yeah, he's not the person you think he is.
And Orson Welles plays Harry Lime.
Wow.
And when Orson looked, trim and good.
This really is Orson Welles in his prime. I think he's outstanding in this.
Yeah.
And his portrayal of the character is what really, for me, just took the movie to another level.
Yeah.
Because you could see this being played movies at that time being played so many different ways, and he plays them so carefree.
You didn't expect me to give myself up.
Why not?
It's a far, far better thing that I do with the old limelight, the fall of the curtain. Holly, you and I aren't heroes. The world doesn't make any heroes.
You've got plenty of
outside
contacts.
of your stories. I've got to be so careful.
We won't say what he does, but he's a pretty immoral character.
Right.
He's doing some really bad stuff.
But this is as a movie. It's a fascinating movie because it's because it's film noir. It seems documentary style, and it almost feels like it was directed by Orson Welles. The style of it reminds me of his Touch of Evil, which he would have done a number of years later.
That's right.
It's got that same sort of really dark.
I would imagine he had something to do, even though Carol Reed was an established director and probably pretty tough.
Right.
I bet Wells had, some input into this. And he got that famous line when he finally meets Holly Martin.
Good to see you, Holly.
One of my favorite scenes in the movie is Joseph Cotton's character addressing the book club.
Oh, I really related to that because I've had people walk out on me like that.
Because it's an interesting plot point to the story because he has no money.
Yeah.
His friend is sent for him. Now his friend's dead, so he's still down on his luck. And he happens to, because one of the policemen recognizes him as a writer.
Holly Martin, sir. The writer.
Tells Wilfred Hyde White that he's a writer, so he hires him to speak to his group. But I didn't get it immediately that he's thinking that he's a great writer, that he's like a really noted writer.
Yeah.
So when he's doing the talk, when the first thing you hear is they go, "Who's your favorite writer?"
Gray.
Gray? What Gray?
Zane Gray.
Oh, that's Mr. Martin's little joke.
And people start walking out.
I have no idea. And they're asking him these complicated questions.
Do you believe, Mr. Martins, in the stream of consciousness?
Stream of consciousness.
But this was so, I wonder how it was released in '49, so I wonder what kind of response it got from the general public because it was so different as far as the lighting goes and the sewer chases were really good and very well lit. And I loved how they'd see a guy at the end of the tunnel and he was backlit, of course, so you just see his silhouette. And I loved how he did the shadows. Remember when you'd see
it's incredible.
See the seat and you'd see light coming through and then you see the shadow. The shadow would look huge of a person coming around the corner.
And even when that first time you see Orson Welles, it's just the lady opens the window, the light comes on,
you just see his face. That's all you see is his face.
It's incredible.
And that's the first time that Holly knows, that the Joseph Cotton character knows that he's alive.
Right.
And then nobody believes him.
I
saw him because he takes off running.
I didn't think
Orson Welles takes off running.
To see him.
Yeah, right. And they don't believe him. No, he's dead. And then they find out when they open the casket that he's supposedly buried in that there's that they got hoodwinked.
But as far as their
Don't want to
success,
give too much of away.
right?
'cause
Well,
it's such
yeah.
a
I mean,
good-
there's still. I think it continues to twist through the movie. So you
a lot of layers in
yeah,
this film.
there really is. But
But
as
it
far
all
as,
fits. I mean, it's not where you're going. What? What?
Yeah,
not-
exactly.
It's not like
It's very easy to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you were saying about whether it did well. I'm not sure how the movie did, but the music, which is the one of the iconic things. From
I
the
tell you, I
movie.
hear that music, I immediately know it's that film.
Yeah, and it's
Immediately.
It's Anton Karas on the zither.
Oh, is that what it is? I thought it was a mandolin or
It's a zither.
Oh, zither.
Because I
for
read
God's sakes. Wow, was I wrong?
The fascinating thing about movies and how some movies just come together and it's
Yeah.
meant to be. Carol Reed heard him playing on the street in Vienna.
Wow.
And that street performer became the musician for the movie.
Wow.
And the soundtrack went to #1. The song "The Third Man" went to #1, and all. So I'm assuming
Really?
the movie did
Oh,
well.
must have then, yeah.
Because he, as I read, he then toured the world on this thing, and he was a street zither
Oh
player.
my gosh. God, talk about fate.
All it took to make a successful movie is to have David O. Selznick, Alexander Korda produce,
Yeah,
Carol
of course.
Reed direct,
Yeah.
and then Joseph Cotton, Orson Welles, and Valley, and
on a Graham Greene
on a
novel.
Graham Greene novel. That's all you need.
Yeah, you got every heavyweight there
and
in
a
the
good
world.
zither player.
Yeah.
And you got a good movie.
That's always the key.
It's called The Third Man.
A novel, Mr. Martins?
It's a murder story. I've just started it. It's based on fact.
We've been talking about The Third Man, which, by the way, we have to give.
Oh yeah. It's #1 on our list as well.
And 2 Chucks up. It's a whole
Yeah,
different
definitely.
ballgame.
Good help.
I'm Paul.
I'm Kelly.
This is Chuck. See you next time.